I've worked with hundreds of businesses to improve sales on their websites, from solo and small businesses all the way up to Fortune 500 brands like Microsoft, Adidas, and many more. And most websites, no matter the size of the business, might get clicks, but they can really struggle to turn all of that interest into actual buyers because the psychology behind why people buy hasn't been built into the design. And the worst part about this is every person who clicks and leaves isn't just a lost sale. It's wasted ad spend, wasted traffic, and wasted attention. But when you get the sales, marketing, and buyer psychology of your website just right, really small changes can lead to huge lifts in conversions and sales. That's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 sales psychology hacks that you can apply to your website today to get more people to buy without resorting to cheap tricks or manipulation. By the end, you're going to know exactly what to look for on your own website and the simple changes that are going to help you capture thousands, maybe millions more in sales every month. So let's start with the mistake that 95% of small business websites are making right now. You're overloading people with too much information without making that information meaningful for buyers. So most business owners believe that if they explain the product clearly enough and they sort of preemptively answer every possible sales question or sales objection, it's going to make the product look amazing. So people are going to buy whatever it is that they're selling. So they end up loading up the website with hundreds of nice to know details like features and specs and use cases and product photos and 1,000 points of social proof and every single little technical detail they could fit in there, the brand story, like whatever. It just goes on and on and on. And that sounds kind of logical on the surface, like more information could be helpful. You're making the product the star of the website. The more information somebody has, hypothetically, the better they're going to understand the product and the buyer's going to start to see it just like you do, right? The obvious solution to all of their problems. But there's 2 principles in buyer marketing and sales psychology that tell us that this isn't actually the case and that more information can actually make your product harder to sell. The first psychology principle that can stop people from buying from you is called cognitive load. So cognitive load is something I talk a lot about, but it describes the amount of information that our brains need to take in and sort through and think through at any given moment. The more information there is, the more likely you are to overload your customers' brains, and they're not going to stick around to figure all of this out. So if there's too much information or they sort of have to translate what that information means for them, people are just going to bounce without buying from you. So before we get into the second psychology hack that can help turn your website into a sales machine, I want to let you know that I have a free download that I think you're going to find really valuable called 49 Things You Can Do Today to Sell Anything to Anyone. Inside, I'm sharing 49 of the best sales psychology hacks that you can use to get quick wins today using buyer sales and marketing psychology. You can get it at the QR code here or at 49saleshacks.com. Now on to the second principle that will turn more browsers into buyers. Cognitive fluency. This describes how easy or hard it is for our brain to process information. And when it comes to buying decisions, cognitive load and cognitive fluency are really, really important. So what that means in plain English is that if you want to turn more traffic into sales, is that you have to translate and organize the information that describes your product into information about what that product means for your buyers in the language that they would use. And that's a really important bit. Let's talk about a real example of this from a real website. Helix is a mattress brand that does a great job of taking lots of information that's overwhelming and hard to understand and translates it into meaningful information that tells buyers why it matters to them. So instead of just listing a bunch of product information, their website works kind of like a Q&A. They ask really simple questions in plain English, and then they answer those questions with their product options. So instead of just listing the types of covers you can get on their mattresses, they ask you a simple question. They say, sleep hot? Select the right cooling option for you. Then they list each of their options with a quick explainer of what they mean for the buyer. So Tencel is, quote, a super soft, ultra smooth, premium mattress top fabric, which fine, makes sense. But Glaciotex and CoolForce are really clear that they're perfect for people who are hot sleepers. And they give amazing concrete examples of the experience that buyers can get from each one. So like Glaciotex is described as a cutting-edge top fabric that feels instantly cool when you get into bed. That's really simple concrete language that makes it easy to imagine what it's like to get into a bed that has Glaciotex, and it solves a real pain point that hot sleepers suffer with, getting in a bed that's hot and gross and sweating immediately. And the top of the line option, Glaciotex plus CoolForce, is described as, quote, our cooling cover plus our heat transfer layer for the ultimate cool sleep. So you know, if this is important to you, that you're going to get the coolest sleeping experience possible. And that little bit of information organization and information translation that the brand has done on the website makes all of this random product information feel meaningful to the right buyers, which makes it a lot easier to buy and to sell. And if you need more information about these cooling tops, you can just click here and get more in-depth and detailed product specs, plus a nice bit of social proof. Because Helix understands and has designed its sales and product pages for how people actually make decisions, knowingly or not, the product information is grouped into these Q&A sections that are really easy to understand and scan, so you can just jump into the one that's most important for you and what you personally need out of your new mattress. So I want you to look at your website and ask yourself, when somebody lands on this page and knows next to nothing about your product or your brand or your business, what are the questions they're asking themselves? And don't overcomplicate it. What do they care about? What are they searching for? Then use that knowledge to design your website so it's easy for them to find the right information. So in that Helix example, they know that being too hot to sleep and having a mattress that hurts your back are two huge pain points for their potential buyers. So they've taken all of the possible information points that they could possibly include about this mattress's features, and they've made it really easy to understand with plain language that their buyers would actually use to describe their problems and to describe what they want, like an instantly cool experience as soon as they get into bed. If answering those subconscious questions takes too much effort, our brains don't suddenly become patient and search and dig for the answer. People will just bounce and they will go look somewhere else. Because processing and translating and trying to understand your website feels like it takes more mental energy than just not buying does. So that's your real competition, not another brand or a business. Your real competition is just not doing anything at all. What everything in this video comes down to is this. The real reason your website is getting clicks and visits but not enough buyers usually isn't the product, the price, or the specs. It's that the design and individual pages might look good, but they're not doing a psychological job, turning your product information into meaningful benefits that are easy for people to understand and make decisions based on. When you fix those three things, you're going to have a website that works with a buyer's brain instead of against it, selling more things to more people in way less time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a quick like and subscribe because YouTube is going to show you more just like it in your recommends. And if you're looking for more ways to sell more stuff using marketing, buyer, and sales psychology, check out this video next. I'm Jen Clinehens, and I'll see you in the next one.